Sizing up Murphy, drives, floats, hangs, and scores on the turnaround. J-Dub way behind the three-point line and hits way behind the three-point line. Got blocked. What a rejection by Holmgren. Standing tall like a wall.
This is New York. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, post-game edition, coming to you after the Thunder absolutely whooped the Denver Nuggets in the season opener, 102-87. Thanks for tuning in. We are brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast and our homies over at Prairie Artisan Ales. I'm your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. I've got my guy, TP, Taylor Peterson, is in the house.
Holy cannoli, Jacob.
Holy cannoli.
What a statement to start the season. For
Incredible. We're going to break it all down for you, but what a whooping the Thunder put on the Denver Nuggets tonight. A lot of expectations coming into the season. I was wondering a little bit, Taylor, do we get brought back down to earth? Do the basketball gods humble us? Nope. They
took
gassed
the
us
L.
up is what they did.
I took the L for our season prediction.
Weekly predictions. Dingus. Hey, before we start diving into this one tonight, a few housekeeping items we need to let you guys know about. First, the Uncontested is now on Patreon. You just go to patreon.com/theuncontested, or you can scan the QR code right up here in the corner of your screen. For a very, very minimal amount of money, you can join the Patreon to get access to our Discord. We will be hosting one live virtual watch party per month, dropping 2 bonus pods per month, tons of other content. I think it's a really good deal. There's a lot of folks in the YouTube chat right now who are part of the degenerates in the Discord channel. They all hosted an impromptu Thunder watch party tonight, Taylor.
Yep.
Had a bunch of people in the live stream on the Discord. They were streaming the game all together, hanging out. So if you guys want to join an incredible Thunder community, have a place to just shoot the shit with the fellas, I would highly, highly encourage you to join the Discord.
It's been so awesome. Like last night, you and I, Jacob, were in there with Connor B. Shout out Connor. He's become the official streamer of the Uncontested Discord. He actually upgraded so he can stream 1080p. So we have great quality in there in one of our video and voice chats. We had an absolute blast last night. And like you mentioned tonight, not only was our channels just going crazy for all the throughout the entirety of the game, but we also had a live channel streaming the game, thanks to Connor. And there's a ton of people in there just talking, giving commentary. It's been awesome. I've been
if you think Thunder's social media is fun, the Discord right now is just everyone you love from Thunder social media all in one place.
And if y'all remember, like back when Twitter wasn't just crazy and a bunch of like 12-year-olds with their burner accounts here back in like the Russ I almost said Russ PG, Russ KD era. That's what this Discord has reminded me of, and it's brought that enjoyment back. And I just
it's been a blast. So we would encourage you to join. Also, speaking of encouraging you to join, the next Thunder game, Saturday night against the Chicago Bulls, we will be hosting a watch party at Prairie Artisan Ales up at 8th Street in Oklahoma City. Game tips at 7 o'clock. Texas Ross Barbecue. Food truck will be there. He sent me the menu list. Insane. We're going to have brisket. We're going to have sweet tea brined smoked turkey breast. We're going to have chicken wings. We're going to have elote. We're going to have mac and cheese. We're going to have peanut butter pie.
He also posted pictures of it, Jacob, and tagged us on the
on
Uncontested
Facebook.
and
Yep.
Facebook, which we shared, and
So
it's going to be fun.
you're not going to want to miss it. On top of that, you have all the delicious Prairie beers. We're doing giveaways at the watch party. It's going to be an incredible, incredible night. So come hang out. If you thought tonight was fun, just watching at your house at 9 p.m., imagine what Saturday's going to be like when we're all going wild in Prairie, barking like a bunch of feral animals. It's going to be insane. So come hang out. Lastly, if you haven't already, just make sure to sub to the Uncontested on all your social media channels and on YouTube. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Drop that like. We got a lot of people in the chat tonight, a lot of people watching live. So hit that thumbs up button for us. Help us with the algorithm. We would appreciate that. Okay, enough BS. Holy cannoli, Taylor. The Thunder spanked the absolute piss out of the Denver Nuggets tonight. I got to be honest, the first 6 minutes I was a little worried, and then they just put the foot on the throat, executed the kill shot. Insane. I know you have some big takeaways from this one. So we'll hit some big takeaways. We'll kind of talk the flow of the game. We have a Prairie Artisan Ales King of the Prairie, aka player of the game for the night. Lots of stuff we can talk about. But Taylor, give us your 5 big takeaways from game 1.
5 big takeaways that stood out to me tonight, Jacob. In no particular order, but the Thunder depth. I mean, the depth that we saw on display tonight was just absolutely absurd. No Hartenstein, no Jay Will, no Kenrich Williams. Didn't matter. And we'll dive into that. Thunder style play. Very similar, but also worth, I think, its own bullet point here. The aggressiveness and the versatility never changed regardless of who was subbed in. They played the same exact style of basketball. And I think that's worth mentioning here as we head into the season after the season opener. My third one, Chet Holmgren. Oh my gosh. Enough said. Can't wait to dive into Chet's game tonight and his performance. And then new contract, Aaron Wiggins. Very similar vein to my previous one with Chet. Just incredible performance from Aaron. I thought, especially in that first half with that second unit, he really carried that second unit there and was a huge positive for this Thunder team tonight. And then my final one I have here, the Thunder still have so much room to grow. Jacob, I didn't think the Thunder played their best basketball tonight due to injuries and some of the inefficiencies like the three-point shot. The big three weren't at their best lineups, and that we probably won't see throughout the remainder of the regular season. There's so much to dive into with that bullet point, and the Thunder still win by almost 20 against the Denver Nuggets. Those are my 5 big takeaways. Where do you want to start?
I love it. So let's dive into those first, though. I want to just give like a quick rundown flow of the game. Like I mentioned, the first quarter kind of started ugly. The Thunder were turning the ball over, didn't look real good. Taylor, at the I want to get it right here at the 5:47 mark, 5-minute 47-second mark of the first quarter, the Thunder were down 19-10. Denver, according to ESPN, had a 77% chance to win the game. From essentially the 6-minute mark of the first quarter to the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter, the Thunder outscored the Nuggets 86-59. 86-59. At that point, both teams kind of called the dogs off. We saw the benches get cleared. Bunch of bench guys got in. Speaking of dogs, Alex Caruso, we got the first bark of the season.
That was so cool.
AC and the C stands for K9, buddy.
Look, I know we said we were going to do a 30-minute post-game podcast, and here we are 10 minutes in.
We're 10 minutes in, I know.
But
that was kind of the game flow, though. Like, we could get super detailed with the rotations and this. I don't want to get into all of that. I want to focus on the bigger picture stuff because we know rotations and things are going to shift these first 20 games of the season. So let's just dive in. Yeah, Trav says, great to see Jacob barking after the game. My twin AC, Alex Caruso, baller.
Dog.
Taylor, let's start with point number 1, depth. Thunder depth.
The Thunder played, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Quick math, 15 players tonight. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, or sorry, 13. That's absolutely insane. We saw AJ Mitchell's minutes there in that first half. We saw Ousmane Dieng get a lot of minutes. I mean, we can go so many different directions with this, but the Thunder didn't have Isaiah Hartenstein, like we mentioned. He was injured. We didn't have Jalen Williams from Arkansas, who was injured. We didn't have Kenrich Williams, who's played a lot of minutes for this team in the past, who was injured. This Thunder team is so deep, and it is absolutely insane. Again, we can go a lot of different directions with this, and we're going to get into some of these individual players with my takeaways. But Jacob, just as a whole, Mark trusting these guys, including a two-way player and AJ Mitchell to come in and give first half minutes.
Yeah, well, hell, Taylor, like Isaiah Joe started the game.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned that.
Which something none of. I mean, you're talking about the depth, like especially at the wing position, the wing and the guard. AJ getting the minutes. Isaiah starting. Aaron Wiggins.
Chet just quote tweeted us. That's pretty cool.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
so
dope.
I tweeted the uppercut that Chet did off the bench, and he said, I told Jay Will if he ever pushed me like that again, he's gonna catch one of those.
Chet, join the Discord, buddy. We'd love to have you. Smoot mentioning in the chat, even Ousmane Dieng getting some quality burn tonight, Taylor. Like, the depth is crazy, and like you mentioned, they don't even have access to the big depth yet, which is kind of insane.
Absolutely insane. Sorry,
Taylor is 100% not paying attention to me at all.
I am replying to Chet on Twitter.
All right, let's go on to point number 2 then. The style of play. Are you done tweeting, Taylor? Can we talk style of play?
We can talk style play. Jacob, the thing that sticks out to me the most, and this is something that some of the Nuggets beat reporters were tweeting about while they were at the game. I mean, again, it's such a big contrast. The way the Nuggets just absolutely change their style of play and just in general, their team changes when they put in their bench lineup this season in comparison to the Thunder, bringing in some of those guys. And we can talk about some of the players that the Thunder threw out there in the second and third units, but the Thunder style play, I mentioned the aggressiveness and the versatility that these players all have. It doesn't really matter who you threw out there. They're going to play the same way. You can expect guys just hounding the ball on the perimeter in defense, trying to create turnovers, trying to protect the rim, pushing the ball in transition, which is something I've talked about the last couple of seasons. The Thunder are best at when they're pushing that pace in transition. And then just the ability to have players, even off the bench, that are able to create their own shots, like an Aaron Wiggins, somebody we'll get into. Even when the guys like J-Dub and Shea are sitting on the bench, they play the same style of basketball regardless of who is in. And this is something that the Thunder, Sam Presti, Mark Daigneault have preached over and over the past couple of seasons, all the way back to the start of the rebuild. And we're seeing that come to fruition and kind of seeing what's the term I'm looking for? The benefits. What's that term I'm looking for?
I think just benefits.
Reap the rewards.
They're reaping the rewards. Yeah, the perimeter, like, I don't know, the broadcast mentioned it a lot as well, Taylor, but just when one guy comes out and another guy comes in,
shout out Brantley.
Fruits of your
labor. Thank you, Brantley.
When one guy comes out, the other guy comes in, like the style of play does not change. And that's been the goal of this team for so long, is to build up a style of play where everyone can pass, dribble, shoot, everyone can defend. One interesting note, Taylor, and I want to kind of get your thoughts on this. And I said I didn't want to get too deep in the weeds, but I feel like this is a place where we can get a little in the weeds. Style of play. You have to remember that the last time, like, we actually watched this team in a, like, on the record basketball game was the playoffs against the Mavericks. And in that series, the Thunder had a defensive philosophy of, like, one-on-one, try to prevent Luka from scoring, make him distribute to the other guys. And the other guys beat the Thunder, right? Why am I forgetting the Mavericks guys that beat
PJ
us?
Washington.
PJ Washington and Derek Jones Jr., right?
Right.
A little bit of the same philosophy tonight. Throw 2 at Jokic, bring the double, make the other guys beat you. My question for you is the fact that they did that in the Dallas series and now they did it against Denver. Is that a product of just Jokic being Jokic? Is that a product, and the Thunder have to do the double team? Is that a product of not having Hartenstein? Or is this a larger defensive philosophy by the Thunder to play the double, get the ball out of the hands, make the role players beat you, and just have an insane, scrambling, versatile defense on the backside to cover up all the issues? Does that make sense?
It makes
So do you think it's a Jokic problem tonight? Is it a lack of a Hartenstein problem, or is this just the Thunder's defensive philosophy?
So if you were to ask this post game to Mark Daigneault, he would tell you it was a little bit of all the above, but mainly it is the Thunder's defensive philosophy and the players that they throw out there. Like we said, the Thunder style play doesn't change regardless of who you're throwing out there. They trust each player in that position to be able to recover and to be able to kind of cover for the next man if somebody's doubling down, and then for everybody to be able to get back in place. And so some of that's on Denver, right? We saw the lack of Denver's depth. We've seen they struggle without like a KCP kind of player out there with those starters. Christian Brown had a fantastic game for the Knights, but you're going to let Christian Brown cook you 10 times out of 10, and we saw what the result was tonight.
I hate to say it, I hate the dunk on the brother because his jersey will be in the Paycom rafters. But you let Russ shoot every time. Like, you send the double to Jokic and you let Russ shoot the ball.
Correct.
And I love Russell Westbrook, but that is the philosophy, right?
Right. And I think some of that was game plan to your
for what it's worth.
Question.
Russ was 2 of 10, 1 of 6 from 3.
Goodness.
Man, this hurts my heart. Russ was a game worse -24. The guy who checked him, Cason Wallace, was almost a game high +18. The game high in plus minus was reserved for my Lord and Savior Alex Caruso, +19 with 0 points.
Who didn't score. Exactly. It's crazy how that happens. But again, we'll get into Caruso and the depth of this team.
So talking about the philosophy and the doubling Jokic and yada, 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 I think this transitions us perfectly to topic number 3, Chet Holmgren. Before we get there, though, let's take our first break of the night for a quick ad. We will be right back on the other side. We are back. After hearing those ads, I also want to remind you again, join the Patreon. I feel like I'm plugging it a lot. I'm not trying to take your money, I promise. All the money that we make from the Patreon is getting reinvested into the podcast. Things like equipment, more events, summer league coverage, all the different things that we do. That money is going directly to that. We don't profit off of the Patreon. So
it's more so we're super excited about it.
Yeah, just a little bit of transparency there. Also, come to the watch party. So we talked about Jokic and doubling Jokic. Chet Holmgren, brother.
So Jacob, let's not get into specifics because we're going to save that for later on in the podcast. Maybe just some like big overall takeaways from Chet's game before we get into his actual stat line and some of the impact he had later on in the podcast. Talk to me about what you saw from Chet just as a whole tonight.
Big picture Chet thoughts. Number one, he looked stronger on both ends of the court. They want to talk about Jokic like pushing him under the basket. I thought Chet was much stronger. You know where it really showed up, Taylor? The defensive glass. It really showed up on the defensive glass. Really impressive showing by Chet strength-wise.
10 defensive rebounds. I said we wouldn't get into stats, but
other things that stood out. Chet playing below the free throw line on offense. Whether that be a pick and roll and getting to the rim for an and one, whether that be for that disgusting dunk that maybe woke up my whole neighborhood from the profanities I was yelling, whether that be catching on the short roll turning and almost making a Jokic type of move where he drops the backdoor bounce pass to a cutting Wiggins or a cutting Joe or a cutting Wallace. And then the last thing was the three ball didn't look great, but the catch, show the three, 2 dribble into the midi pull up, silk, like KD-esque silk.
Automatic. And you mentioned that play. This is the perfect time to bring that up. But I believe, Jacob, I think it was the third quarter, towards the beginning of the third, where Chet gets the block on none other than Nikola Jokic, one of the best players in the NBA and today's NBA. He kicks it out. I think it was to, trying to remember who brought the ball up. Regardless, that person kicks it to Shea on the right wing. Shea finds a cutting Chet for the poster slam. Timeout Nuggets. I mean, that was just the exclamation mark on just an incredible performance from Chet out of the gate. You mentioned the three-point shooting. He was 0 5 from 3. All 5 of those shots seemed pretty short. There was a couple of them that were in and out.
One airballed.
Yeah, one was an absolute
One was
airball.
real short.
But can you imagine if he gets those legs under him? Is able to start hitting those
if he
shots?
gets 2 of those 5, dude. I mean, we've already kind of started touching on the stats. Do you just want to name your King of the Prairie?
Let's go ahead and do it. Will you bring up the banner for me? Thank you. King of the Prairie, Prairie Ales, player of the game here on the Uncontested. I have Chet Holmgren. This is per the Thunder. They tweeted this out after the game. Chet became the first player in Thunder history to register 25 plus points, 14 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists, 4 plus blocks, and 2 plus steals in a game in Thunder history. We are on season 17 of Thunder history. He finishes 25 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 11 of 18 from the floor, which is the crazy part. And 5 of those misses were all from 3. He had 2 steals, 4 blocks, and only 2 turnovers and 2 fouls, guarding the best big in the league, unless you want to call that Embiid. But he has to stay healthy. On that.
Maybe Jokic was guarding the best big in the league. I don't know.
Yep.
If you take away the 0 of 5 from 3, he was 11 of 13 from the field, from inside the arc. If he hits 2 threes, Taylor, 2 threes, if he goes 2 of 5, he ends with a 31 point, 14 rebound game, which is just absurd. For a while there, I mean, he had the 4 blocks, 2 steals. I think early on in the fourth quarter, he was flirting with a 5x5.
Crazy.
If Chet gets the 5x5 before Wemby, I might go get Chet's face tattooed on my face. There's a chance.
Listeners, please. There's like 700 of you in here. I need you all to hold them to that. But a couple things, Jacob. A couple more things.
Before you move on, shout out Prairie for the King of the Prairie sponsorship. Go drink Prairie beers.
Absolutely, and
come
see us
21
Saturday.
Don't drink Prairie beers if you're under 21, but tell your parents to drink Prairie beers.
Jacob, his ability to finish through contact, 3 and 1s tonight with Jokic, primarily. I mean, it was just absolutely insane. His ability to put the ball on the floor and tightening up his handles to be able to create, like you said, inside the 3-point line, and then being able to absorb that contact and get to the free throw line like he has. We mentioned that during the preseason, but that showed yet again on like the highest level against one of the best bigs in the league. That's really exciting things from Chet. And then my other takeaway there is you mentioned Chet not being able to space the floor necessarily tonight. And eventually teams, I hope, will respect him from 3. But it doesn't really matter because the Thunder have 4 other players on the floor at all times who space the floor and allow Chet to be able to cook down low.
Mm-hmm. And I still think the 2 big lineup's going to work.
We didn't even see Hartenstein tonight.
Yep. Insane. I'm starting to get the sniffles, Taylor.
Uh-oh. Don't need you sick for the watch party Saturday.
It don't matter. I'll still be there. Super spreader. Live from Wuhan. Big takeaway number 4. If Alex Caruso is my Lord and Savior, then Aaron Wiggins might be my Holy Spirit.
We almost have the Thunder Holy Trinity here for Jacob. For those of you listening, Jacob just did a fantastic gesture there. live
It
on
makes it sound like I
the
flipped
stream.
somebody off. I crossed myself. Is that what they
Yeah,
call it in
right.
the Catholic Church? Crossing yourself?
I'm not Catholic. I am Christian, but I don't know. Anyways,
Well,
Aaron Wiggins. Aaron Wiggins, speaking of
we
saviors,
need a Catholic in the chat to straighten us out here.
speaking of people who save saviors, Aaron Wiggins saved basketball yet again tonight. Jacob, I thought Aaron Wiggins was absolutely incredible. And like I mentioned,
Insane.
like, I mean, what he did there, especially in that first half with that second unit, when they were really struggling to create offense, he looked like Shea and J-Dub out there, being able to create his own shot. Some of those shots he got up, especially that first one, I mean, it was absolutely insane. I think it was 5 of 5 from the floor in the first half with just some potatoes to the rim. So on the night, I'll let you take this away. Aaron Wiggins, 15 points, 6 rebounds. He was 7 of 9 from the floor and 1 of 2 from 3.
Just awesome. The little
Also had a steal and 2
drive.
blocks.
Yeah, the little drive, pick up his dribble, half turn, turn back around, fadeaway jumper is sick. I tweeted it. I am not saying this hyperbolically at all. I am not saying this in jest, tongue in cheek, anything like that. I am being 100% serious when I say Aaron Wiggins might be the best at rim finisher on the team. Like his bag, his finishing package, like below the rim, he never misses. He had one, was it in the third quarter maybe, where he was on I think he caught a pass, he was in transition and he hit like a little hezzy at the 3-point line and then went in, took like a deceleration step and then stepped through and hit this like insane leaning finger roll over Nikola Jokic. Like the dude's ability to finish at the rim is absurd. He never misses there, and he also is he's such a great cutter. We talked about it so many times last year, Taylor, but Aaron Wiggins is the kind of player where do you need somebody to come in and shoot threes tonight? Aaron Wiggins can fill that role. Do you need someone who's going to cut off ball and just make the defense move and get some backdoor layups? Aaron Wiggins can do that for you. Do you need an extra wing defender who can just go in and muck something up on the defensive end? Aaron Wiggins can do that for you. Do you need someone who can do a little bit of ball handling and some off the dribble stuff for you because someone else is struggling? Aaron Wiggins can do that for you. If you picked Aaron Wiggins out of Oklahoma City, you could drop him on any of the 30 teams in the league, and he's probably a top 6 player on any of the 30 teams in the league. He's just, dude, he's so good. That contract is going to be one of the best contracts in the league.
If it's not already. I agree completely. His ability
I mean, imagine what that contract looks like next year under the new salary cap.
Right.
I mean,
It
2
looks
years
great
when
now.
this thing jumps by 20%.
And his ability just to be able to find those open pockets within the defense. It reminds me of like a good wide receiver in football. You're able to find those pockets within the zone, right?
Yep.
That's exactly what Aaron Wiggins is able to do. And it's just, it's incredibly impressive, as well as take his defender off the dribble and create for himself. I mean, what we're seeing from Aaron and the growth is impressive.
Meek says he's a Swiss Army knife in the chat.
He is.
Swiss Army knife, got a little bit of everything. It can cut, it can open a can, it can light a fire, it can, I don't know what else Swiss Army knife.
It can cut things. They have scissors usually.
I've never looked into why did the Swiss make such a great knife that has so many different things? Why was it the Swiss? What were the Swiss up to?
If the Thunder were a country, would they be the Swiss because of the versatility?
No, they could be. They could be.
This is the in-depth analysis you can get after midnight here at the Uncontested.
Hey, the degenerates are out in full force. It is a work night. It is past midnight Central Time. It's 1 a.m. out on the East Coast. And we just have an insane amount of degenerates in the chat. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Last take of the night, room to grow. Taylor, when you wrote down room to grow, what was churning in that enchanted little brain of yours?
First one, or again, not in any order, but the first one I jotted down is just injuries. You mentioned Isaiah Hartenstein. We didn't see him tonight. Jay Will. He was there post game, but we didn't see him on the floor tonight because he wasn't suited up.
Mhm.
Kenrich Williams, a lot of experience. Didn't see him tonight either. There's still so much depth for this Thunder team. They're throwing out a two-way rookie in AJ Mitchell, and it's absolutely insane. Sorry, go ahead.
No, for sure. I think that point stands, but also per average age, they're the youngest team in the NBA again. You mentioned AJ Mitchell. You have Ousmane Dieng. You have Dylan Jones, J-Dub, and Chet. Like, you have so many young guys that can still grow into their own game. It's not just you didn't see all the depth. It's they're going to look so much different from game 1 to game 82, right? Just from the internal growth that these kids will go through.
From the top of the roster to the bottom, you're exactly right. Even Shea, still not an old player. So the injuries I wanted to mention, but the main thing here, Jacob, is just the inefficiencies that we still saw from the Thunder tonight. For example, the Thunder's three-point shooting, they shot only 8 of 36. I love seeing them get the 36 three-point attempts up. Again, something we here at the Uncontested talked a lot about during the offseason is them trying, and we saw that with the Celtics, obviously, here to start the season. And looking at them last year when they won the championship, Thunder needed to get more three-point attempts up. But they were only 22.2% from the floor. Now, the Nuggets put up 39 three-point attempts and were only 18% from the floor. Shout out the Thunder defense. But that's something that's going to improve. Isaiah Joe's going to be better there. Shea's going to be better there. J-Dub's going to be better there. There's so much. You can go down the list, and that's going to improve. The other thing for me is the big three, Jacob. J-Dub got in foul trouble early. He had two quick early fouls and then got a third one later on in the first half. He only had 12 points and was only 5-16 from the floor. Not a great debut for J-Dub. Not concerned at all. He's coming off the ankle injury, but we didn't even see the best J-Dub. I mean, I thought he had a great fourth quarter again, right? But we're going to see a better J-Dub. That right there is efficiency. We saw Chet play great. Shea played well, but even not his best game. 11-24 from the floor, 2 of 6 from 3, 28 points. That's insane, right?
Taylor, if quote unquote well is 28, 7, 8, and 5 stocks, you're pretty goddamn good. If that is well.
Am I wrong though? I mean, I'm used to seeing Shea get 31 points each game last season.
I mean, I felt like it was a normal Shea game. Maybe a little inefficient, missed a few things early. If he gets those, it kind of evens out, but he sent Aaron Gordon to the shadow realm. Oh
my gosh, that was dirty. And not only that, but my favorite play of the game from Shea, Jacob, it was later. It might have been early in the fourth quarter, either that or late in the third. But it was in the second. They saw about backcourt violation. Everybody stopped on the play. Shout out OU football. Remind me of Danny Stutzman here a couple of games ago when he was letting the ball go out of bounds instead of trying to secure the the touchback and get the ball in the end zone. That wasn't Shea. He hustled. He made the play defensively. He was 110 miles per hour. Went and got the ball that led to the transition basket. That's your leader on the team. That's the leader of your team. I just love that from him. Yep. But finally, Jacob, the reason I mentioned the Thunder still have so much room to grow. Mark was very experimental. He said he was going to be, and he will continue to through the majority of the early part of the season. But the lineups tonight, we didn't even really see Alex Caruso with these starters. Can you imagine what that would have looked like?
Oh, yeah. Does Alex start Saturday night in Chicago?
Good question.
Homecoming?
I do think we see a different starting lineup.
Just put Alex in. I want it to be known. I'm rooting for Josh Giddey. I hope the kid does great in Chicago. I hope he has a great career. But start Caruso Saturday and just let him whoop his ass. Please. Please. I just want to see the dog off the chain, Taylor.
Love it.
Caruso made his presence felt from the word go in this game.
As soon as he got in that first quarter.
As soon as he got in, he was just a man possessed.
Raised hell. Hey, one honorable mention, though, before we get out of here. And we have to do it.
Don't say it.
People are going to get mad in our YouTube comments because we haven't mentioned him as a takeaway. But Oos, I thought, played well, especially in the first quarter, Jacob.
Because he hit 2 threes. He did shove somebody. I was proud of him for shoving somebody. He also shied away from any contact going to the rim. Still some work to go, but he's young. Maybe we'll get there.
He wasn't a negative. I thought that was impressive.
All right. The sniffles are continuing. We're 35 minutes in. It's 12:20. I have work at 7 a.m. I think it's time to call it a night, Taylor.
Fun night. Fun way to kick off the season.
Couldn't ask for a better one. Hey, if you want to enjoy the downtime in between now and Saturday with a whole bunch of Thunder degenerates who just want to talk hoops and have a good time, join the Patreon. It's really cheap. It's a lot of fun. We have a live virtual watch party where we'll all get online together, all get in the chat. We'll have the game streaming so everyone can watch it. That is coming up soon. We will announce that soon. Our first Patreon-only pod is coming on Monday. And just so you guys know, we are not cutting out any of our normal programming. All of that stuff stays. You are not losing any uncontested content. Just if you want some extra stuff, we've got that option for you. Come out to Prairie Artisan Ales on Saturday, October 26th. Watch the Thunder take on the Chicago Bulls. Eat some barbecue. Drink some tasty Prairie beers or other Prairie drinks. Get some of our giveaways. Hang out with us. Watch the Thunder beat the Bulls. And then we will be live podcasting from there afterwards. So you can hang out and listen live if you'd like. We will see you guys Saturday night, live from Prairie. And then we will be back Sunday night after the home opener against the Atlanta Hawks for our normal Sunday night weekly show, where we'll make more predictions for the upcoming week. We'll play some Prairie trivia and have so much more planned for you guys. We will see you then. Until then, and as always, Thunder up.